Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, September 8th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, I did my big September monthly Google Webmaster Report where I summarized what happened over the past month. Not much in terms of algorithm changes. We did see some things going on there, some mobile first index changes or talks around that. Of course, some AMP stuff. And a lot of other stuff around that. So if you did miss the month, you slept, you're on vacation for a month, quickest way to catch up on Google SEO related topics is this post. I posted it on September 5th, so definitely take a look at that and you will catch up pretty fast. Talking about algorithm updates, today, this morning, as well as earlier this week, I reported about Google algorithm shifts. The one this morning seems to be a bigger tremor. It seems to be something that not only webmasters are noticing, but also the algorithm tools, the tracking tools, the weather report tools are actually noticing as well. So people are saying, my traffic's up 30%. I'm seeing improvements today. I lost traffic yesterday, and now it's about down 75%. And it really depends on obviously your time zone, but I believe this happened either late last night or early this morning, and even some of the tracking tools, not all, Mozcast didn't update yet, but they will, hopefully later today, have noticed these changes. AccuRanker has significant changes there. You can see a jump in Rank Ranger, as well as SEM's Rust sensor shows a significant jump as well in terms of the tracking. So if you do, and you do run websites and SEO for clients, definitely take a look at your traffic this morning, your rankings. Things may have changed, so definitely do that. And we'll see. Again, earlier this week, we did notice some ranking chatter as well. It may have been related to this, where Google is testing something and then pushing it out at the end of this week. It's hard to know, but we definitely have two posts around Google algorithm updates over the past week. Talking about algorithm updates, on the local end, it looks like, according to Joy Hawkins, who's a local SEO expert, she noticed that the Possum update, which we reported about a year ago, where Google basically impacted the local rankings on the local pack based on some type of filtering and spam detection, that may have been updated on August 22nd. Joy went ahead and tracked it for one client and saw that their rankings in the local pack have significantly improved on August 22nd after being hit hard by this Possum update, which released, I think it was on September 1st of last year, 2016. And she actually looked at a bunch of other clients and noticed that, yeah, there are a lot of clients that are now no longer hurt by this Possum update, which is, again, is this local pack ranking algorithm shift that happened about a year ago. It said it didn't positively impact everybody, but it definitely impacted a lot of customers or local businesses. So definitely take a look at your local rankings to see if there's any change there as well. And that would have happened August 22nd. So you can definitely isolate that there. Google has opened up their beta for Google Search Console to more testers. I even was invited, which is rare, so thank you whoever invited me. But basically, it gives you access to a lot of more features, or a lot of cool neat features in there, especially the index status report. But let me show you some more screenshots, which we actually showed you a month ago or so, I believe, when we got the insider tips from people. But people are talking about this new index low interest report, where basically just shows you the page was indexed by Google, but it appears very rarely in search results, and because of that, it may be omitted from the Search Console reports. And then we have Glenn Gabe sharing tons of reports, screenshots of reports online. So if you do want to take a look at that, or you do want to see if you have access to that, we have links to see if you actually have access to the Google Search Console beta. It is a nice update, it's mobile friendly, and it's pretty cool. Gary from Google basically said that if you want to prepare yourself for the mobile-friendly index, you should really make sure that your pages are equivalent, your desktop and mobile pages, mobile first index. And because of that, he's recommending that tool builders, like Moz or whatever, build tools specifically around making sure your mobile pages are equivalent or compared to a comparison tool from your mobile pages to your desktop pages. And that will give you some insight to say, hey, how are they different? Are the links different? Are the content different? Are the call to actions different? And you can actually go ahead and say, all right, I really need to fix these issues with my mobile pages to make sure they are equivalent enough or comparable enough between the desktop version so that my rankings don't significantly change. And that's things. Specifically, things that Gary said you should look at in these tools are critical content, metadata like hreflang, images and videos, as well as structured data, to make sure all of that is also on your mobile pages, not just on your desktop pages. Google AMP is now powering some of the feature snippets. And I asked Google if features if AMP pages will rank higher for the feature snippets. The Google said no, but basically you see here how to use Twitter shows an AMP result on the mobile version, but on the desktop version it's not showing an AMP result, it's showing the Wired article, which is not amplified or whatever you want to call it. And that kind of says, hey, maybe if an AMP page is available and it's relevant, Google might show that above a non-AMP page in the feature snippet. So keep that in mind. On AMP, Google is rolling out AMP landing pages for AdWords pages. And they released this beta back in May, and now they're actually releasing this to everybody in about 2 weeks. It does make your landing pages way faster, so definitely take a look at that. Publishers are implementing AMP teaser content. So here's a video from Will that shows when you click, and hopefully this will load for you so you can see it. If you click on an AMP page, so he's going to click on an AMP page here, and you scroll down, you'll see view full experience. So it shows you a snippet of the content, and then it shows you full experience, which takes you out of the AMP result and into the mobile-friendly review, responsive review, view of it. Google said they ignore tons of links, and it's almost impossible for you as an SEO webmaster to figure out which of those links they actually ignore. That's what Gary said on Twitter. And he also hinted that some ex-Googlers might be able to make an educated guess, but for the SEO, it's pretty much impossible for you to figure out which links Google ignores. John Mueller, being somewhat funny, somewhat serious, said that the #1 Google search ranking factor is awesomeness. So if you want to rank well in Google, make sure, and here's the tweet, what's the #1 ranking factor? He said awesomeness. And of course, that's going to be something that I'm going to play with for a while, and of course, Google's going to play with me for a while on. Google said just because you're not spamming Google doesn't mean your white hat SEO website should rank #1 for whatever query you want. And John Mueller said this on Twitter. He said just because you're being an SEO angel, just because you're doing everything white hat, doesn't mean you have the best possible result, most relevant result for Google. And he said just because your site isn't spamming doesn't mean it's the best result for user queries. And sometimes that's a question that comes up a lot. I'm not spamming. Why is my competitor ranking better than me? And again, it doesn't mean just because you're not spanking or whatever. This is interesting. So Google Plus Ones, back a year or so ago, I don't know, even more than that, we covered this back in August 2011. So August 2011 and February 2013, it was a discussion around do Plus Ones impact rankings? And everybody in Google said no, 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 because there was an article that was released around Plus Ones helping rankings, because that's what the sales reps at Google were doing. Google's sales reps were saying you need to add the +1, which I still have there, I don't know why, to your articles because it'll help you rank. And then Google's Matt Cotton from the search team said, no, 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 that's not true. It's not an algorithm. Don't do that. So it is very interesting to see that come back up again. Google also said that larger sites, bigger sites, don't rank better just because they're bigger or larger. It's not by design, like in the algorithm that says, hey, bigger sites rank better. That's what John Mueller said over here. And also, just creating bigger sites with larger pages and creating millions and millions of pages isn't going to go ahead and rank you better. It might go ahead and flag you as a spam target. And that's what John Mueller said later. Creating millions of pages, which sounds like a lot of spam. And of course, we've seen sites like Mahalo and other sites hit by Panda because of that. Google said just because you're not in the cache, you don't have a cache link in Google search results, doesn't mean your pages are any lower quality. There could be lots of reasons for that. Google is updating their SEO starter guide. So a few weeks ago, we reported that the SEO starter guide is still relevant. Gary from Google said it's perfectly relevant. But John Mueller just said in a video this week saying that this 7-year-old SEO starter guide is being updated by Google, specifically around more of the mobile-friendly topics, mobile first index and so forth. And Google hopes to release that soon. So that's a very good update to have. Google featured Snippets are testing query refinement buttons or query expansion buttons. You can see here, little icons, buttons that actually trigger the more feature snippets, which is a nice feature. They've tested this in the past as well. Google mobile search app links are offering links to the web page button. So if you're doing app indexing, this kind of bugs me, but it's here. You can see here's the LinkedIn result. You can see opened on LinkedIn as opposed to if you click here, open directly in the app if you have the app. If you don't have if you do have the app, it also gives the option to open on LinkedIn.com as opposed to in the app. It kind of bugs me, but that's a feature Google's testing. I couldn't replicate it. Google officially launched the ability to edit your Google My Business local listing directly in search. We've been covering this test for a few months now, and now it's finally out there. So if you go here, you'll be able to actually edit your business if you're logged into your Google Business account directly in search, and that's just a cool feature. Google Hotel Search is showing room selection carousels. So if you go to a specific hotel, let's say Trump International Hotel, you'll get a slider that shows you by booking site how much the room is by room type, which is a nice, neat little feature. And finally, Google Analytics has finally come up with a solution for tracking your AMP pages. Sometimes AMP pages can be double counted in Google Analytics because it's not tracking the different users as they pass from your www to your AMP page. And that could cause double counting sometimes. And Google actually released new code. You have to update your code, a small snippet of code that will better, they call it a small code change that will better track your analytics, your Google Analytics with AMP pages and non-AMP pages. Google said if you make these changes, you can expect that your user and session metrics will drop to a more accurate count as formerly distinct users are recognized as the same person, as well as related metrics that will also become more accurate, such as time on site and bounce rate, and new users may rise temporarily. So that's what's going to change here, and that's very exciting to see that Google has an AMP analytics tracking solution finally out. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Those in Florida or those regions, please be safe. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Again, my name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz video recap that happened on September 8th, 2017. Everyone have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next. Bye.